Hello again, and welcome to this special episode of Lawfully Chaotic. We have a very special guest. I would say in the studio, but he's not actually. We don't actually have a studio, but we have a very special guest with us today from the Netherlands. Joining us from the Netherlands, Michael, also known as Marsman Crafts. Thank you for joining us. We've really been looking forward to this. Michael is correct me if I'm wrong, a DM and especially a terrain builder who makes some really freaking awesome stuff. So welcome. Thank you for joining us. Sharon, you wanna lead us off here?
Yes. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Lawfully Chaotic. I am Barrybot, and that is Brian over there. And then, yes, as mentioned like 2 seconds ago, we have Marsman, Michael from Marsman Crafts. Today, we'll be talking about all things terrain making and all this cool stuff that he does, show and tell today. So I would like to thank you for joining us today, Michael. I have a question for you. Where are you from and what inspired you to create these terrains?
Well, 2 years ago, I was starting with a group in Enschede, Dungeons and Dragons, and it was a lot of fun. But we didn't have any scenery, so I thought, well, yeah, let's buy scenery. That was my first thought, but the scenery was really expensive. We paid like
I was just gonna say. Then you saw the price.
yeah, I was like, I need a second job to afford that. I thought that should be able to be done cheaper, so it's more common for everyone. And yeah, then I made my first scenery, and it was okay, and it did its work, and it was better than a blank paper with a ballpoint pen. So yeah.
Right. Oh, so you were just using like the mats?
Yeah, first we had the battle mat, and you could, with a marker, you could just sign everything. But some people are naturally gifted with role playing, while others have problems with that, including some of my friends, including me sometimes. So I like to visualize things to see on the table. So yeah.
That's awesome. So what was the first thing that you made for your group?
Actually, I'm gonna show you. It's a little bit damaged, but
sweet, show and tell. Oh my gosh,
this was my first thing. It had to be a cave with greenish waterfall somehow.
That was your very first piece?
Yeah.
What?
Wow.
And I used it only 3 times, and at that moment I learned that scenery is a lot of fun, but it takes a lot of time, and it's
Right.
you don't
I'll
use it.
I'll give you €200 for it right now.
Seriously. That is awesome.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to make it?
You can tell we're both super excited. We're like,
we're so yes.
Yeah, how long did that?
Oh.
You can tell we're professionals.
Yeah. But that is, well, everything should go with humor in the end. So
yeah.
This piece, I think it took me about 2 weeks. And yeah, as you can see, probably I just used the basic
foam.
Styrofoam, yeah.
What?
Wow.
Actually, I have it here. If you have a second.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that piece is amazing.
Of packing foam. So yeah.
Oh my gosh, you're kidding me.
Wow.
Yeah, it's made of the packing foam, and yeah, I came in touch with other crafters, and then I learned that you can add, for example, sculptor mold. It's like papier mache, I would say, and to harden everything, and pretty easy gets pretty cool shapes then.
That the texture in the stonework is amazing. Honestly, that is wow.
Thank you.
You
Thank you.
knocked it out of the park with the first build. Jeez
Wow.
Louise.
Thank you. Yeah, I really like this build, and because different levels, it was really nice to create it and could easily do it for multiple purposes. And I think this is the most nice thing about crafting, because it's not only making the scenery, it's on your way and developing as crafter, you get in touch with so many people that are willing to learn you, and
Right.
it's pretty
Yeah.
much like D&D adventure itself, I guess.
It
That's
totally
that's a
is.
really great way to put it, because we always talk about, one thing that we love about the game space is the collaboration and how willing people are to do things like this and reach out and, like you said, learn from each other and whatnot. And I think it's funny because the social media aspect of the gaming space seems to be one of a very small handful that is not mired down in negativity and politics and all that stuff, because everybody's so passionate about it. And I think that's really one of the things that I love about the community, is that it's so open and accepting to collaboration and whatnot. So that is, I mean,
Yeah.
That's
fantastic work.
Exactly, and the most fun part about crafting is that anybody can do it. Literally, anyone can do it,
Yeah.
and see a really fast learning curve, and that is so amazing. So, after like 3 months of crafting, I started to go on Instagram, and the first person, there were two persons actually that I would advise anyone. Maybe you have heard of it, but one of a person is Joe from Encounter Prince and Encounter Terrain, and he's like awesome.
Yes,
He,
I've talked with him.
yeah, he inspired me so much to do the crafting, and he made monthly challenges that people can make a scenery piece.
Really?
Let's see, 1 second.
I mean, this is just amazing.
All that detail work.
I know.
Yeah, I think this was my second craft actually, and it was from the LED light is destroyed a little bit, but it's like a mini diorama. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's a cave, and these kind of things I learned pretty much from joining these challenges, and you see everyone's input, and yeah.
So you do all this LED work also?
Yeah, it's really fun. I'm not a master yet in LEDs, but there's, for example, the cave, and
I mean, this piece is just amazing.
Yeah, actually, I made that for a friend because it was his first time playing D&D, and he played so good. So I decided to make a diorama for his miniature, that if his miniature would die, the rest of his life he had like a sacred place for his character.
A shrine to his character.
So cool.
Exactly.
That is just fantastic. This too, that is just, wow.
I love that piece.
That is actually one of my latest works, I guess. I don't know if you can.
Yeah, because I watched the progress of you making this. It was so cool to see.
Yeah, it was a lot of work. I came in touch with a company, and they are a 3D printing company. And they said, hey, Michael, maybe you can show us by making a diorama with one of our models. And they sent me this huge ass angel, and I really didn't know what to do with it. I thought, fuck. Yeah. I was really thinking, fuck, how I am going to make such a nice model combined with XPS foam and such. And
okay. That is just, oh my gosh. So do you still use so I've delved into a little bit of the foam stuff, and I've just I use the XPS foam. Have you moved on to that? I've never even thought to use packing material.
One second. I think this is my stack of XPS foam.
Okay. All right. So question answered.
I think XPS foam is really the best because basically you can do everything with XPS foam.
Yeah.
Is it just more sturdier?
Yeah, I can give you an example.
Yeah, it's more densely packed, but it's still super light. So it's really awesome to like cut into it and whatnot.
Yeah, I always tell, sometimes I get messages about people like, hey, Michael, how did you start crafting? It's really simple. You have, for example, this kind of piece. I only say you need two things. A ball of aluminum foil to make a stone texture and a Stanley knife or an X-Acto knife, and you can cut everything into it. It's it works so easy. So people kept asking. So since 2 or 3 months now, I'm starting to do 1-minute tutorials about how you can craft and make things.
Oh, that's cool.
That's awesome.
If I'm looking for myself, I don't want to watch like 16 or 30 minutes before I can craft something.
Right.
Yeah.
Take a nap
find
in
the
between.
same thing. Yeah, right? It's like, get to the good stuff. Well, hold on. Let me put this back up because I'm still looking through your feed here because it's just amazing.
That's so awesome. And then for the models, for like the figurines, do you make those yourself?
Yeah, it's actually funny that you talk about it. I graduated in 2012 as a 3D designer. So I worked for a time as game designer, which was a lot of fun.
That's
wow.
Cool.
And actually, I think you saw a few models, but right now I'm working on. Let me check. I'm working on
even
a
these rocks are just fantastic.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. You're working on a Kickstarter now.
Yeah. So what I do is, I think it's above my page. I'm making these miniatures of a mimic set.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I'm planning on making just a lot of bullshit things. Like my latest piece is going to be an King Excalibur rock, and that's gonna be a mimic. All these kind of things.
Oh, that's so cool.
That is so awesome.
My main reason for this, you have a lot of mimics over there, but as a DM and starting Dungeon Master, I would like to create mimics that are not so common, like this crest, this chest, for example. It's like common.
I was going to say that's the first time I've seen a mimic with arms, and I absolutely love it. It is awesome. I could just see it like scrabbling down a corridor or something. That
it has awesome. Multiple eyes.
I know.
I would just run as fast as I can.
I like these too. This reminds me of the pillars in Moria.
Yeah, totally. How many of those pillars are in there? What were you making?
Actually, I'm in November, 20 November, within a month, I have my first stand. So I'm trying to make mass production products. And I try to do them detailed, but I don't want to be that person that asks €50 for just a piece. So trying to make a lot of bulk, so D&D is playable for everyone, and even for the people with a low budget. So that is what you see on the Instagram: a lot of bulk and a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So your booth is it the Dutch Comic-Con?
Yes, correct. Yes.
Okay. So fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's the first time, and I'm really excited. Even maybe a bit nervous, not knowing what I'm going to meet and who I'm going to meet there. But in the end, can only be new players, new people to meet. So that should always be fun.
Yep, absolutely, totally.
Sharing the fun and excitement of it. That's what it's really all about. And like, you're making it accessible for everybody too. Like, I think that's so awesome. And teaching them how to create these terrains. Like for me, I think I would just have popsicle sticks and glue and just make a really bad hut.
Well, you make fun about it, but I saw amazing scenery from Pop Stickle Sick.
Joe uses a lot of those in his stuff.
Really?
Yeah,
Amazing.
he does, and it's crazy. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
He make entire taverns. I think he's the only one that makes vertical terrain, because here his motives were like he wanted to have space and playable terrain, and the things that he does is he really inspired me to start crafting. Yeah.
Yeah, Sharon, if you haven't seen it, he does like these vertical walls with like ledges and ladders and stuff like that. So it's like a wall climb type of map. It's
What?
really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
What is okay, I'm curious, the DM screen that you built.
Oh yeah, I have to get that one. It was actually fun because my parents-in-law, they don't speak English, and I really wanted to create some sort of bonding with my father-in-law. So yeah, I don't know if you're common with the Italian culture, but it was more like screaming like, Michael, do this and do this. And in the end, I did like 20% of the DM screen, and that man was helping me so much. But yeah, it turns out actually pretty good. Let me get it for you.
Okay.
Yay.
All right. I am inspired
I'm blown
now.
away.
Yeah, me too. I'm inspired now to start or to continue doing terrain stuff myself, but I look at his stuff and I'm like, maybe
having that first model as his first build is
I know.
bonkers.
I know. Oops, hold on.
So yeah, I am always trying to be for me, if I craft scenery, it has to be usable and not too much money. I would like to spend things on my money on other things. So I built up this DM screen with candles.
Oh my god! Cool.
Yeah, and I think in total I made this DM screen for maybe €30. I think 30.
Wow.
So that is also what I'm trying to do with my page. Let people know, and I don't want to discourage them by buying scenery, of course, because that is how we as crafters survive and can provide of more. But it's so much fun to craft things yourself and to learn. And yeah, if you're just a bit handy, you can make basically everything. This is the nicest thing about XPS foam. Literally everything is possible.
Yeah. You know, it's funny because one of the, like I said, I've made a couple small pieces. I think one of my favorite things about using XPS foam is that when you're done, it weighs nothing.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I DM'd a bachelor party a couple weekends ago in person. It was the first time I've done it in person in a while. And I have invested a decent amount of money in Dwarven Forge terrain. I kind of use I use Dwarven Forge. I use WizKids. Yeah, it's expensive as shit. So I have it
is nice.
It's for what it is. It's fantastic. I had a love-hate relationship with Dwarven Forge because of the cost and because they never have anything in stock. But man, after using it with the metal trays and the magnets and the fact that you can rearrange a room during play within like a minute, it really is pretty cool. But it's prohibitively expensive, which is why I started also building my own parts. My own scenery. But when I took all of my terrain to this party, because it was, I was paid to do this, and man, I'm not kidding, I had about 70 or 80 pounds of terrain in boxes that I had to schlep to this party. So the nice, like that cave thing that you did, it probably weighs like a few ounces, right? Or
he just literally had it in his hand like nothing.
Yeah, I can literally lift it up with one finger.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. That would be like 100 pounds of Dwarven Forge terrain right there.
Right?
Exactly. And even if you throw off a dungeon tile out of a flat, probably might be a little bit damaged the paint, but for the rest it's perfect.
Yeah.
It's really Yeah, it's really cool like that. But even what the most people do nowadays is buying their own printer, a 3D printer, and then just buy for example, my mini factory. You can buy the STL files and you can print right away.
Oh,
And I think for those who would like to play with scenery, I would personally, I like crafting more because it's unique. But with models, yeah, there are so many ways and there's so many models on the market. That's yeah. If you really start a long campaign, I would advise to buy a 3D printer. I mean, for
yeah.
€200, you have a 3D printer and you're on. Yeah, you're perfect to go.
Yeah, I just bought one for my son's birthday
Nice
in
cover.
July. Yeah, guess who's used it most?
Yeah.
Not him. Yeah. Although I really haven't delved into properly setting up STL files and all that. I've just done a couple very basic. I just haven't had the time yet. But you're right. I mean, the cost is so. I mean, it's ridiculous. The access that we have to being able to create stuff on our own is just it's unprecedented. I mean, um, yeah.
Yeah, especially
I'm
compared to like 10 years ago. You guys have so much to use and work with now. And like I love hearing you guys talk about like creativity and building things from the ground up because it really shows how much you are passionate and creative for this game. Like you want it to come to life. You want to have that touch that you put into the world. So that's really awesome. And especially since like, everybody's here to share it. Like you've mentioned before, Brian, that like the D&D community is just very supportive and like very open with it. So I'm
Yeah,
really
exactly. And the nicest thing is every time you, at least when I think, okay, this is the best way to do it, I see hundreds of other ways. For example, the waterfall. This one was made with cotton and with resin. What's hot glue? You can make a perfect waterfall. Or yeah, you have this. Yeah, I don't know even what material it is, but last I saw perfect waterfall from toilet paper. Like how
what?
yeah, yeah.
No,
No,
it's so funny. Like it's funny as advanced as we've become with like a home 3D printer. It's so another aspect I love of building terrain like you are, it is like you get back to basics. It's like craft day in from like kindergarten or preschool. It's like let's get our scissors and our glue and crayons and stuff and build something. And to be able to still build something that looks as good as the stuff that you build, for this game is just it's fantastic.
of course, and you always have those maybe a little bit salty players that say like, "Oh, I would like to see it like this," or "I would like to see it like that." But if you build scenery without you, there was no nature. Without you, there was no scenery. So it cannot be so bad. And basically, I see a lot of people using a box of cereals, and in the end result, it's just perfect. It's,
Yeah.
you can just basically use everything, and that is also what is so nice about building scenery, that you recycle a lot of things. I think I speak for the most crafters that they are like hamsters, and every piece of plastic they want to have.
Yeah, I always think of that. Like whenever I get an Amazon package, or something that has the foam in it, and I'm putting it into the recycling bin, I'm always thinking like, okay, I wonder what I can throw that it is. I just don't have any room for it anymore.
Yeah, and that way I'm lucky because I have like
That's
so
awesome.
many stuff. It's yeah, I think I need a bigger house.
Yeah, you and me both. And my wife would second that. If I buy any more board games or D&D miniatures or whatever, she's gonna kill me.
Never can be enough. So
That's
yeah.
that's right.
Yeah, no. If you start crafting scenery, I would indeed just start with XPS foam. The tool that I actually use the most, if you don't have a Proxon, is this tool, because you can melt the foam like in every shape you want. It's just it's amazing. But even if you the most beautiful part is you don't need to buy anything. You can even do it with a knife. I saw once on YouTube, I saw someone making like a huge castle just with his sword. You should check it out. It was amazing, but in the end result, I'm not even on that level yet. So, it's so beautiful. But
Okay, that I'm gonna have to look up for obvious
That's
reasons.
awesome.
yeah,
Um,
people and the crafters are really crazy, and as you progress, you will work more with with LED, and you will work more with foam machines, and you will find new ways to bring your scenery to a next level.
Yeah, the LED, that's something I never even thought of in building my own stuff, is incorporating the LEDs. But that is such an unbelievable effect to get. How hard is it working with the LEDs?
Yeah, is it tricky?
Depends. If you're going to wiring, it's still simple. But actually, I will show you the blacksmith I made. Let me check.
Okay,
Actually,
I might need to fly to the Netherlands at some point.
yeah,
It's
come get
just
some
you.
scenery. I need more space in my house. Come take it home. For example, I made this blacksmith.
Oh my
And
god.
I hope it's the LEDs. No, it's not finished yet. You cannot.
Oh
The
yeah.
forge.
For
Oh yeah, I
example,
can see it.
if you make a forge like this, it's not so difficult because a lot of people start to mess with wires and such. But I always try to keep in mind, also because I sell the scenery.
Mhm.
I try to keep it simple always. So basically, when I was crafting, I just put the tea light in it, and yeah, you can buy it, and it looks good. You put hot glue over it, and you have a perfect stove. So
That's
it doesn't have
fantastic.
to be difficult at all.
God, that piece overall is just amazing looking.
Yeah, look at the detail.
Yeah, this piece
Wow.
is it's one of my favorite pieces I made so far because you can even it's with magnets, so you can just put here two tea lights and then you have light inside. So even the windows, I made small tutorials about that. You put LED lights inside, you see that
Yeah.
someone is inside. Yeah.
Wow. Oh my
These-
gosh. Just amazing.
Like
Thank
now
you
I
so
feel
much.
sort of jealous. That's awesome.
What?
Oh, that's so cool.
Oh my gosh. So
But my favorite,
that's go
yeah.
ahead.
No, but my favorite piece till now is still the angel diorama because I really had no idea what to do, and yeah, it just looks okay. It can improve a lot, but
What do you mean it
Okay.
just looks okay?
this is the angel diorama, and
Ah,
what I tried to do with this one, because the angel, I don't know with my webcam quality, but it's a high
Yeah.
quality model. It's
Yeah.
from the print, and the company 3D company provided it to me, miniprint.nl, and they said make something. So the
It's
most fun
beautiful.
part about this one, I wanted to create electricity.
Mm-hmm.
It was really a pain in the ass. Took me about 2 weeks. And
2
when I
weeks.
figured it out, I have to do it with a 3D pen. So with a 3D pen, you can write, and you
oh,
can
prints
make
it, right?
Oh,
and
that's
then I
awesome.
tried. When I do that, thought, okay, but then this angel, the story is that he's behind or in front of a broken portal, and he wants to protect it, so he slams down his weapon into the ground, and the ground levitates. I think. Sorry for my
Yeah,
English.
yeah.
So
The
I tried
rocks, I
to do
noticed
that.
that.
I
Yeah,
noticed that too.
yeah, I tried to give it a more 3D effect with that, and the outcome, yeah, it's okay. I think so. Yeah.
I would say it's
It's
a
awesome.
bit
Are
better
you
than
kidding
okay.
Well, we have to be critic, right? Else
I know
we
we're all
Right.
we're all our worst critics in the creative space. That is definitely true.
I never would have thought a 3D pen. That's
I know, me neither.
yeah, my partner was like, "No, Michael, don't do that, and you cannot do it." And in the end, she was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." So that was really a nice achievement.
That's awesome. How much of your work is like sold in your shop, and how much is commissions? What do you do more of?
When I started, I thought I'm going to sell 3D models because I was at my beginning. I was like, maybe I want to set up a company in it, and that went really fast. If you have a 3D printer, you are a reseller. You can sell a lot of models. And then I stopped with it because I was only printing and printing, and in the end, I missed crafting scenery. So what I do now the most is commissions. So people send me a message, "Hey, I would like to have this or this. I don't have a big budget, but what you can do for me." And then it's fun because you know that your piece of art is on someone's table, and uh, yeah, I don't need to make like a huge profit of it. If I just have my house materials, am able to craft more. So yeah, and
Yep.
I think that is my biggest source of income. Also, I think the basic things like dungeon tiles, pillars, those things sell pretty the most because
Oh
people
yeah.
just, for
Yeah, like the
example,
lava tile you have is so awesome. The lava
what?
tile?
Oh, the lava tiles. Yeah, that
So
was funny.
cool.
We came that session into hell, and yeah, it was an insane session. Actually, yeah, those are pretty old. I think I already did them away. I'm not sure, but
Yeah, those are
Yeah.
awesome.
and then again, it's really basic. I work with inches, so 1 square is 1 inch at my scale, and you just cut 3 by 3, and the rest you can just cut with a knife, and it will look cool. A little bit aluminum foil and a
Mhm.
little bit coloring. It's not so difficult. If you want it, you will get there easily enough.
I mean, look at
I
that.
see. That's another thing I haven't thought of, is just using XPS foam for basic dungeon tiles. You always
Yeah,
think rock formations or castles or whatever. Never would have occurred to me to use it for dungeon tiles.
well, the fun thing about dungeon tiles, until now, I never wanted to work with magnets, but with dungeon tiles, you create the depth, and also if you don't use a battle map, you create a product that players just can think, okay, can walk 30 feet, so it's only like six squares, and I'm there, so they can enjoy more the player experience without having to measure. Okay, can I walk so far? And yeah, I think
Right.
Yeah.
that is the most for me. That is the most important part about scenery. I would love to make complete maps without a battle grid, but it's for the playability for the players, so they can enjoy the game more.
Right.
Yeah, again, the couple pieces that I've built, and my stuff just does not even compare to yours. This is amazing. I love this water here. I kind of made that decision too early on. The couple pieces that I did, they're just a couple like rock hills, plateaus. And I was like, I kind of don't want to put the grid on here because it's going to ruin the aesthetic. But I was like, you know what? It's to play on, so it would kind of be counterintuitive not to do that.
Yeah, and also depends what do the players want. I have players, they just don't want to think about scenery, and they just want to play the experience, and they love the grid. But some other players like to be in complete Lord of the Rings battle maps, and then I can understand that the grid just snaps it a bit off.
Yeah. What? Oh, I had a question. Okay. So one of the things we've talked about, we've had a couple episodes about terrain, 3D terrain. So when I was a kid, okay, Jason and I always, Sharon loves when Jason and I start going, back when I was a kid.
Back in my day.
Back in my day, we didn't have dice, we used rocks. When I was a kid, there was no such thing as 3D terrain. It was dry erase maps and markers and stuff like that. If we had this stuff when I was a kid, like, oh my god, it would have been mind-blowing.
Agree.
But we've talked about opinions on at what point does 3D terrain, encroach on the theater of the mind, and is too much terrain a bad thing or whatnot? And my views have kind of changed over the past year or so. There's just so much cool terrain out there. You can't not use it. It just adds such another level for me to the game that I think it's kind of okay to take away some of that theater of the mind in terms of the scenes and just reapply that to the role-playing aspect. So I personally, I'm continually blown away with terrain options.
Yeah, I really like terrain. However, I use more the basic shapes like pillars, dungeon tiles, and the reason why is, for example, take this blacksmith. I could, as DM, describe it however I want, but it also the problem with that is that it really fills in. For example, if I describe a tavern without terrain, then if I have 6 players, they have in their minds 6 different taverns.
Right.
I really, really love terrain, and it gives so much. But with buildings, for example, I would personally only like it if the entire table is full and you can make modular cities, because I don't want to limit my players' imagination. That they say, for example, if they have a blacksmith and I didn't describe it as DM, and they say, but there's a sign, I see it. For example, I don't want to limit them, and this is, in my opinion, the downside of terrain sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Also, that is because I'm a starting DM. I have a lot of to learn. I DM now for 1.5 years, I think, and I cannot call myself a good DM yet compared to others. But yeah, even that is a learning curve. So yeah, there are so many rules as DM.
The trick to being a good DM is just always make it look like you know what you're doing. Just keep your game face on.
Yeah.
Sharon, where's your opinion on the... I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, what you said?
Oh, I was going to say, Sharon, your opinion. I know we've talked about this in the past, but it's been a while. Your opinion on the terrain versus theater of the mind.
I mean, like Michael was saying, is that, like, you know, the players can have like 6 different perspectives on what you're describing. And I think it's good to have some sort of balance of like, okay, well, everybody meets in this one area and now everybody's come together and, you know, everybody has a sense of what's around them because there's no questioning what's going on if you see it on the map. So, because like even like for like battle mechanics too, people have different perspectives on that. Like if it's better to see it on a terrain, you're able to see where the target is at and where your figurine is at. So you have a little bit of less guesswork when it comes to 3D terrain when it comes to that. So
yeah, and like I said, I think I've... Go ahead.
I think for like RP wise, like I think you could go a little bit light on 3D terrain, but I think when it comes to battle, I think it becomes a little bit more important.
Yeah, exactly. I completely agree on that because I am hosting now a new Dungeons and Dragons group, and I said to one of my players, "You are in a forest," and there were like 5 trees on the battle map, I think, and the enemies were really far away. And he was saying like, "Yeah, okay, but I'm in a forest. Maybe I'm not behind a tree, but if you look to a forest and you look further in the forest, it's getting darker, you know."
Yes.
And then I try to explain him, yeah, in my world, it's not how the mechanics works, because then you get a real small line between black and white. But yeah, that means if you use scenery, now I have like 30 trees, so it's all right. But
That's
Yeah,
when you
it's
get
different.
down on the table and you actually look through the forest for line of sight.
Yeah, exactly. I think what is for us scenery is for another group completely different. You just have to talk and listen to your players, what they want, what they expect, and as long as everyone smiles, it's always fine. Even if there's happening a lot of things what cannot happen officially in the DM guide, at least if my players have fun, I did a good job.
That's
Yeah,
the number one rule. That's we
yeah,
just talked about
simple.
that last week or the week before about how to start being a DM or how to be a better DM, and the consensus is as long as everybody's having a good time, that's this is still a game. At the end of the day, it's a
Yeah.
game, right? And if people aren't having fun, then what's the point?
Yeah, the DM should have fun too.
Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely.
Even
And
if
if
you're trying to
players
TPK
don't
your
listen,
players.
it's gonna be a total party kill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will. That's an interesting point you bring up, Sharon. I have found that as a DM, being able to use terrain and present that adds to the fun for me, because I bring a piece out and my players are like, "Oh my gosh, that's totally cool," and I'm like, "Yeah." I made last night. I was running a game and I made these. I didn't come up with the process. I saw it, and I gone back and I tried to find who I saw it from, and I haven't found it yet because I want to give proper credit. But it's just these. It's tea lights with polyfill, material, and then airbrushed, and it's flame. It's like flames, fire plumes. And like you said, it's super simple, and the effect is just amazing. And I used those for the first time last night, and my players were like, "Oh my god!" And that, to me, as a DM, makes puts a smile on my face. So it's fun for me that way.
Yeah, actually, you can make such nice game tables in like a few minutes, but you just have to be creative. For example, the thing you said, I could demonstrate in 20 seconds how to make campfires on your table. Actually, I can do it soon. It's really simple. Take a black spray can, take some cotton, put it on a tea light, and you have a really, really realistic campfire.
Yeah.
Campfire, bonfire, how you want to
Yeah.
call it.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah, and this is with everything. For example, pillars. Take some, cardboard paper, make a square, paint it black, and you have a pillar. Okay, maybe not as high detailed yet, but you have it. Because I would love to have a game table of Dwarven Forge completely.
Yeah, you
Oh
and me
my
both.
gosh.
I have enough of it to set up a small encounter, but yeah, same. Like, do you follow Inked Mage?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. He's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, like, but
Yeah. Also, for example, you have D&D terrain builds, and he
yes,
makes money about Family Guy with his credit card and debts. The song. Think, is this a joke? Did he get supported everything or just bankrupt?
exactly. Yeah,
If
I
you
think I've
see,
reached my limit on budget for Dwarven Forge.
yeah, if you see the game tables or of D&D terrain builds on Instagram, it's
They're
amazing
amazing.
and
Yeah.
insane. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you, Sharon? You've seen those, right?
I don't think so, but like the terrain that keeps on coming to mind. Have you ever heard of the game, Michael?
Which game?
Oh, the game D&D on Instagram also.
Yeah, so this is a guy who has run a campaign for like 30 years,
40
and
years.
it's the same group, and
Weird.
he has like a giant table.
Is that the guy with the giant Colosseum also?
Yes,
It's got to be like a 10-foot by 20-foot table.
it's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. Those are goals. I just miss a little bit of time, but yeah, it's amazing, these things. And actually, you get there. If you are crafting long enough, you will get there. Sometimes people ask me things, and I always tell to those who send me a message, Mostly of the times when they ask, can you make this or this, I say yes, but have you considered making it yourself? And we can just do a live session, and I can show you how to do it, because in 5 years I'm the one learning from them again,
Right.
Well, you don't want to teach people too much, because then you want to still be able to provide them with it.
Yeah, that is true, but as I mentioned before, I like to do commissions for people, but
Yeah.
when I'm launching my website officially next year, and when I'm really thinking about the income, I would go for 3D models. I did a study for that, and miniatures, because once you made a model as miniature, you can sell it like thousands of times, and there's downfalls. But if you make a scenery piece, for example, the blacksmith, if I want to get in return the hours and the materials, I have to ask like 600 euro for it.
Yeah.
No one is going to pay that,
Yep.
So I rather just like to help and to learn people. And even if I'm learning them and they see something cool, they come to me sooner or later anyways, and they say, oh, can you help me with this? Or I would like to do a commission. And those things are the most fun for me, to do the commissions.
Right. Because you make somebody, that's kind of like when I do brand work for somebody and visual design. It's that process of working with them to make their ideas come to life is really, really rewarding. I enjoy. That's why I do what I do, because I love that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so cool when people buy things from you that you made, and you see that in an awesome setting on the game tables. That
totally
is so much fun.
Yeah.
I think that is because you mentioned, for example, when you started to craft for your D&D group, and they were all amazed by your scenery. And I spoke a lot of people, and I think this is the reaction of most of the players. And then months go by, and it started to get normal in the end. Then you think, is my scenery still good enough? It's something you start to miss then, that they are so,
But that's what keeps us creating more new things.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. For example, I hope it will be next month. I'm going to make a huge new diorama. I call her always for the Mother of Dragons on Instagram, but it's like Pepperina. She paints like every dragon she can paint.
Yep.
And I'm going to make, as appreciation for what she does for the community, I'm going to make a diorama for her, excuse. And that's good. It's gonna be with eye shards. It's gonna be a dragon diorama. Gonna be really.
Man. I can't wait to see that. I follow her too, and I love watching her. Paint.
She's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And this is nice. If you want to craft, I would advise people to, follow some known crafters. And they are all willing to help you. They will provide you of the knowledge that you need to have, and they give you feedback. I'm in a few groups, crafting groups, and that is where I learned crafting, and from doing, of course. But it's fun, and as long as you are crafting, it will get better and better. And there cannot be a wrong, because my opinion, everything is better than just a blank paper,
Oh yeah. I mean, I've already picked up, just in talking to you, some tips and tricks I'm going to try. Like I have yet to use the tinfoil ball for the stone.
I never would have thought of that.
Yeah.
See, now I want to make stuff too.
Yes, Sharon. Actually, I'm still waiting to see some scenery from you. You told me,
you know what? I'm working on it.
3 or 4 months ago that you said, I want to create something. Nothing yet.
That's your homework, Sharon. Next week's show is make some scenery.
Yeah, next week's show I'm going to subscribe, and I'm expecting a beautiful scenery made by Sharon.
Okay.
That's something for the for the people that watch this show. It's really catchy. What is Sharon the Berry Bot gonna make for us? No pressure.
Now I have to watch your tutorials then, if that's the case. I gotta get the ball rolling.
There you see, we all help each other.
Comes full circle.
That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
for example, about the materials that I use the most, I use cotton for smoke and sometimes smoke machines, but it makes noise. It can be a little bit annoying.
Hmm.
Uh, if you want to make nature, what I would advise everyone use sculptor mold. It's like a white powder. You mix it with water. You put it over just a square of XPS, and it's getting hardened. And without no time, in no time, you have amazing rocks. Of course, also the aluminium foil. It's your best friend. And yeah, if you want to go more advanced, send me a message. I sent you the list what you need, and you can make basically everything.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I think there. It goes without saying, but there is a excellent opportunity here for us to send people your way. Although you have a bigger
Yes.
following than we do, so but we will do what we can to send people your way because your work is just fantastic,
It
and
is
you're so
awesome.
willing to help people learn. It's amazing.
Oh,
I'm
I think he
inspired.
froze.
Who's going to bring? So what I was saying, I really am in touch with Sharon for some time now. So I will follow the show. I'm really curious because it's a weekly show that you do or
It
monthly.
is.
Yes.
It is every Thursday night. So I think that's like 3 in the morning your time. But all the episodes we put on VOD on Lawfully Chaotic YouTube, RPG and Company YouTube, and TTRPG Academy. Yeah, all that down there. So we do have an archive of all the previous shows.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
you could
amazing.
just start
So,
from the very beginning.
yeah, exactly, and it's always nice because is it only with video or also a podcast? Or
So Jason does take our shows and turn them into a podcast, and they are up there too. Where is he? I don't even know.
You know what? I could send the link to you after the show.
Yeah, we'll send you all the links.
Yeah.
amazing because crafting and hearing people talk about tabletop games, that's just amazing.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
I
we'll
would
send
love
you all those links. I should know, but that's Jason's department.
because you are with three, yeah? You, Jason, and Sharon.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
And
Amazing.
I'm in Chicago, and Jason and Sharon are in Los Angeles.
So in 5 years, you move to Los Angeles when the show is big and it's
I
growing a
have
lot.
been
There
trying
you
to
go.
convince my wife to move to LA since I've known her. So yeah.
Good luck then.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why I'm still in Chicago.
Yeah, exactly. I know the feeling because I'm living in the Netherlands, but probably in a few years I'm living in Italy because, yeah.
Which do you prefer?
It's really different because for crafting materials in Netherlands for sure you have everything here,
Yeah.
and I was finding a hard time in Italy to find all the things I need.
Really?
Yeah, for example, you have like these dollar stores here a lot, and you have them in Italy, or I was not in the right places, but it was the stock was less than here in the Netherlands.
Okay.
I like really about the Netherlands that it's free. You can be whoever you want to be. If you're wait, let me pick my words carefully. If you have a specific way of clothing, or you have problems, or you're finding out your gender, in Netherlands it's possible. Everyone is accepted for who they are, and that's amazing. On the other side, my view in Italy is like in the summer, but even in the winter, people come outside. They don't sit at home. Streets are full. If you're not go to the touristic places, people just come together. They like to go to the beach, and it's the society and healthcare in Italy is far better than the Netherlands, in my opinion.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh God.
For
I don't even.
example, I had problems with my liver in Italy. I didn't need to. I didn't even have to show my insurance pass. They did the CT scan, radiography, all for free because they all pay more taxes to
Universal healthcare. Yeah.
I'm not even going to get into healthcare in the United States because that is a losing argument. Losing argument.
What's healthcare?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that is amazing. Sharon, what else is on your notes?
Well, we pretty much covered all the bases here, all the terrain. So when are we expecting to see your Kickstarter go live?
Oh, yes.
Yes, that is really nice that you ask. Right now I have like 5 or 6 models. I'm doing a lot of questions and around my Instagram what the community would like to see. I think it will be about February next year.
Okay.
Because I'm planning about making a set of 30 different varieties of mimics, and the pledge price will be maybe like 35. Again, I don't want to change my beliefs that I don't want to charge too high. I want it available for everyone, so everyone could have a nice experience. So I try to, starting in end of November after my stand, I try to weekly upload a mimic that I make, and people can even send me a message even after seeing this, like, hey, I would like this mimic, and I will make sure it's included in the set.
So is that going to be STL files, or are you actually doing physical printed prints?
I'm doing physical printing. I just did, for example, my barrel. I thought it was kind of funny. This turned out pretty okay. The barrel mimic. So what I try to do, a mimic is officially like a blob or a slime, as far as I could investigate. So I tried. That's why I tried to do the legs and the bending into the wood.
Oh my gosh.
Keep
us posted on the Kickstarter, and I'll back that.
Yeah.
If people really don't have a 3D printer and they are willing to send me the shipping cost and the resin cost, I have no harm in printing them for them, unless it will be like 100 or 200 people that want physical.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah.
If it's not too much, because it will be a pledge to have the physical models. But I will just charge a little bit the resin cost, machinery cost, and the shipping. That's it.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, gonna be so much fun. So
I know that's have an exciting couple of months.
In November, I'm starting to do a weekly mimic announce, because I already have more models than announced on my Instagram. But then I'm going to make the Kickstarter campaign. So every week I come up with a mimic, and then probably in January or February I want to launch the set. And the idea is in the future to make a monthly set, but I first want to take things slow. I really want. There are a lot of 3D artists there, but I think my strength. I try that my strength is going to be really listen to the community. What do you want? Base my models on that, and in that way.
So a lot of custom work.
Yeah, and a lot of enquetes, a lot of questions to the people that will become a Patreon. I expect their voice so I can make a better product for them. But that is my way of doing. To make the sets based on their needs, and not to create a set, which is amazing. It's amazing what the current people do, making sets and then launch them, and a lot of people back that. But I really would love to hear what is missing on the market. And
your attitude,
the mimics is a great start.
Is fantastic. I love the mimics.
Well, I always said I don't have to become rich with scenery, but if I can pay my house and if I can just make people happy, I'm also a nurse, a palliative nurse. So
okay.
My life is a little bit about trying to make people happy. Life is short. Let's enjoy it.
Well, now it makes sense. Now it all makes sense. Your attitude towards your craft.
I have to ask. great vibe about you. I think
Yeah.
people would be more than happy to support what you have brought so far to the table.
Thank you.
Yeah. I have to ask one question. Where does your name Marsman Crafts come from?
Well, it's simple. My back name is Marsman, actually.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
He really is a Mars man.
Yes, you can make a real fun story, and kids at school love to ask for like 6 or 7 years. Hey,
Yeah.
are you coming from Mars? But yeah, it's actually Marsman. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. The simple explanation.
Yeah, I try to approach everything in life like that. Keep it simple. Just
Yeah.
I could make a real fancy name, but I started with Marsman Crafts, and I want to continue with that. I will have 2 companions when I do the Kickstarter. 2 of my close friends, which are really good in the marketing, will join. So if it's a problem for them, might change the 3D part to a name that suits them, but we are not sure about that yet, because the most of my community is right now on Marsman Crafts. So
yeah, you have a pretty strong following so far, so it would be
Almost at 5,000.
I know.
Yeah, really.
That's awesome.
Because in the beginning of the Instagram, somebody told me do the follow for follow, and I did it in the beginning. I'm honest, but at the end, people starting to see your content, and it's really difficult as starting a company. You can bring your content, but there are not so many people. So I started to follow artists, started to learn from them, and in the end, people start to follow you. They start to send you messages, and I made a lot of new friends there, and people started to send me things. Hey, can you promote this? Hey, can you show this in one of your tables? And that appreciation, that people appreciate what you're trying to do, that's amazing, that feeling.
Yeah.
That's
well,
awesome.
I can't think of a better way to wrap this up. I'm so glad that you were able to join us.
I am so happy. This was such a great conversation.
Yeah, I am inspired. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining. Sharon, thank you for setting this up. I expect that we will all definitely stay in touch and do what we can to promote each other's craft, no pun intended.
If you have your streams offline available, because it's 3 p.m. When you go, I will follow it for sure. It seems fun. You really are open and fluent in communicating, so it's nice to hear.
Thank you.
Yeah, like I said, I'm inspired. I feel like when we end this, I'm going to go downstairs and start cutting up some foam and rolling aluminum foil balls.
Yeah, some aluminum foil.
You seriously have inspired me.
I have a real good proposal. If Sharon finally next week make a scenery piece, I will make a 3D model for Lawfully Chaotic, and I will send you the all physical. But then I finally want to see Sharon doing something.
Okay.
Oh, now it's on you, Sharon.
Not to manipulative, but I just really enjoyed the show, so I would like to make a logo or something in 3D. It would be
my
really
gosh, that would be fantastic.
Sharon totally should make some scenery.
I think if Sharon makes the scenery, I'm working on a logo for Sharon, her berry bot. I think if she makes the scenery, you should do a 3D model of the robot bear that I'm coming up with.
That's fine. I will do that for sure. And I'm really curious for next week or in 2 weeks. No, if you don't want to do it, if you don't want to do it, don't do it. But
now you have to. You're bringing the game to me. I have to play now.
Not to put you on the spot, Sharon, but we're gonna put you on the spot.
You cannot.
I love it.
You're calling me out. I gotta answer the call.
Oh, fantastic! Well, again, I'm ecstatic that you were able to join us. Thank you again, Sharon. You wanna close? Do you have anything you wanna finish up with, Michael?
Yeah. Do you have any special mentions that you would like to share with us, or any links or events?
Actually, if you really want to start crafting, you can always send me a message. I am in a crafting group. It's called the Pink Foam Brigade, and
Okay.
you can send me a message or them. The guy that hosting that is Sean. He has a Patreon, and he is so helpful to new crafters. I would advise people there, or send me a message. I am willing to send the information for that, and just start crafting. It's so much fun.
Awesome.
Pink Phone Brigade.
All right.
Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Lawfully Chaotic with the awesome and amazing, creative, terrain extraordinaire Michael here, also aka Marsman Craft. He is the real Marsman. And Brian, where can we find you?
As always, rpgandco.com. Instagram's probably the best place. Otherwise, my link tree is down there with all my my other tendrils.
Yes. And you could also find me here at Barrybot. There it is, right there.
I do
Nobody
that all
can
the time.
find it.
I still don't have the hang of that.
Yeah, my camera is reverted.
I know, mine too.
So you can find me here over on Instagram at Barrybot. You could also catch me here on Thursdays at 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Pacific time over on the Lawfully Chaotic channel, which is this lovely channel. Thank you for joining us. And you could also catch me on Saturdays at the D&D Club's Twitch channel for the Graying Lands campaign, which starts at 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Pacific time, where I play a Druid Kalistar named Mayra. So thank you, everyone, for joining us, and we'll see you
so
all
much.
next week.
And thank you again, Michael.
Thank you.
too.